Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to my first video on this channel. This channel is going to be kind of based around trading options, some education, maybe some accounting advice, some accounting tutorials, etc. Just a lot of educational content based around finance things. But for this first video, I am going to be talking about my mission with one of these series that I'm going to be working on. And it is this. I am a poor college student. I don't have very much money, but at the same time, I would like to educate myself on learning more about options, more about trading, but specifically working on some of those strategies capitalizing on theta, so cash secured puts, the wheel, covered calls, vertical spreads, etc. And so I don't have very much money, and so I'm going to be working with currently $50 and putting in a little bit each month, but I'm going to try and document some of my trades, take you along the process, and see how much I can make in 2021 with such a small account, because I know there's a lot of people that have very small accounts and it is difficult to make money sometimes. And so I think this will be a good source of education if you are trying to learn how to grow a small account, because even though I currently only have $50 in here, it is a very replicable process regarding if you have $100, you can do the same things that I'm doing with 50, etc. But it's mainly about seeing how much return I can make as opposed to how much money I can make, because if I can make 20%, 40%, etc. with $50, that should hopefully translate over to if I have $10,000 in here, which is a goal one day as I get a real job and actually learn how to save money and be better with my finances. So, with that said, as you can see on my account value right now, I've got $54. Buying power is $14.85. I made a pretty stupid trade this morning. I was on Wall Street Bets and I actually saw this random ticker. Let's see if I can. Yes, CCIV. Saw this random ticker. I was like, okay, I'm going to buy it. Bought it for $14.97. Realized this is stupid. It's going against what my mission was. So I sold that. Sold for 40 cents loss around there. Not the best trade. Should have done that. Should have stuck with my gut. So let's get into the meat of my first trade. So as you can see, what I did first was I looked for high IV tickers. So I'll just kind of explain that. High IV tickers. And then I hit bar chart here. I'm going to work on making a scanner. I'll show you how to do that in a later video, but for the sake of this, at the time, I had SNDL as a very high IV ticker. That has since changed, but it was on this list, and this is a great list to refer to if you're looking for some of these options that have higher implied volatility, which if you don't know, implied volatility is a factor in the price of an option, aka in the extrinsic value of the option. So what I saw was SNDL, or Sundial Growers. I think they're a marijuana grower. They are a marijuana grower, yes. And so I saw them. They had a very high implied volatility, and I saw that they were trading at actually around this price at the time. So around 0.6, 0.7. And I can pull up their chart right here. So here's their chart. You can see I bought in on the 7th here. So around 0.65 to 0.7, and they had a pretty high IV at the time. And so what I wanted to do was, I only had $50. I know that I'm trying to make a fairly good return because I don't want to lose it all. And so what my strategy for the time being is, I'm going to be trying to take the wheel but scaling it down to an extremely small size. So with that said, I went for a 0.5 strike, which at the time I had a delta of about 0.21, so we're not too far off here at 0.22. The bid was actually 0.1, and this was for about a month out, 38 days. I know that's a little far, but if we look at some of these others, we can see that the bid is it's 0, and there's a 0.5 for February 5th, but I thought that going for a 0.1 would be best. The IV was a lot higher, and so I was able to net about a 20% return on my $50 of capital. So if you don't know, a cash secured put you're essentially betting that I will have the right to buy 100 shares at 50 cents if I get assigned. And that means that if the stock, which is currently trading at 0.668, drops below the break-even point, which is around 0.48, that means that it will most likely be exercised for the buyer, which means that I, the seller of that contract, will now have to buy 100 shares at this 0.5. And so for that reason, I had to put up $50 worth of collateral, or 0.5 times 100. But in return, when this bid was 0.1, and actually I sold it for 0.11, I got $11 of capital. It was a credit to my account, $11 minus 65 cents for the fee, which is what Thinkorswim charges. So if we go to my trade, let's go down here, my trade over here, we can see that the mark is 0.1. That is the middle of the bid and the ask. There's my P&L. Doesn't entirely matter right now. Since we're so far out, here's where it really matters. Trade price, 0.11. This is what I sold the contract for. The cost, that is the credit to my account. We can see with the parentheses that it indicates a credit. And then we can see that the delta was a 22.04. Theta was 0.19. And Vega was 0.06. And so the delta is a rough estimate of the percent, or the percentage that it will be in the money. So we can estimate that, okay, there's a 22% chance that it will be in the money. Now, if I was buying a put, that means that there would be a 22% chance that I potentially make profit. But as an option seller, I want it to be out of the money so I can collect a premium. So that means that there's going to be a 1 minus, now at the time, 21.98% chance, so around a 71 or 79% chance that I would get it would be out of the money, and I would just collect this $10.34 and not be assigned and not have to buy 100 shares. And so that is my first trade. It is small, I know. It's not worth a lot. But if we actually look, I made 10.34 divided by, 50 for collateral. So I made 20.68%. That's a pretty good return. If I had bought 5 of those, I would have made $50 instead of $10. But I just don't have nearly enough money right now. And so there's a few opportunities for me to continue to collect capital over this time. If I get assigned and I buy 100 shares and it goes up by $1, I'll make, as you know, $100. And so I thought that it's trading at this price, but it looked like it had reached kind of a level of support back in December of around 0.46, 0.42, kind of at that lowest point. And I'm willing to pay $50, even though it's trading at a little bit below, because I think if I could get these 100 shares back at this price and it does go up by this much, that's around $30 of profit. But at the moment, I don't feel like it's worth buying at this price. It took a pretty sharp dip today. We can see it drop by -5% here. So I'm not really willing to pay this much money for these shares, but I am willing to pay this much money for these shares. And that's why I'm doing a cash secured put. My intention isn't to make a ton of money, but my intention is to make a good return on the money that I have and continue to add money throughout. Especially with the election coming up, I think that there might be some more things to come out of legalization of marijuana. So there might be some good opportunities for buying, or there might be some good growth here. And so I'm thinking that if this drops down again, I would gladly own 100 shares of this. I could sell covered calls, maybe at around a 0.8 strike, and try to net some of that gain between those two prices, the 0.8 and the 0.5. But for now, that's what I'm recommending. That's going to be my thought process. I'm going to be potentially trading small stocks like this, try to work my way up, and trade the wheel on something very cheap. I would love, ideally, to trade the wheel on something like Palantir. That's a stock I do believe in it on my main account that I'm saving for things. I'm invested in Palantir. And ideally, then you can start getting to indexes, which I just deleted. But indexes are a great way to trade the wheel. So yeah, I think that sums up my first trade. That's what I'm going to do first, is on SNDL here. Sundial Growers. First trade. Look at high IV. look at high premiums. So the two things that I would look for on your first trades, and just work your way up very slowly. Try to focus on return. Try not to think about the money too much. But at the same time, maybe once I can get $100, maybe have a little bit more than 50 capital, I can start selling like a vertical credit spread, and see if I can make a little bit higher of a return in a shorter amount of time, because a month for $10 isn't super fast. 20% return in a month is great, but 100 for $10 isn't the best. So I do want to try to accelerate this process of growing 50 over the year a little bit faster than that. I did contribute $5, which is why you can see it's around 55 now as opposed to 50. Once that $10 finally goes in, that'll be actually around 65, which is a nice little bump from the 50 that I contributed. So that's the basics of what I'm doing. I hope that was clear. I know it's my first video. It's probably not the best video, but once this trade executes, if it gets assigned or if it just expires out of the money, or if I want to roll it forward, I probably won't roll it forward. I'll try to update you guys. The thing I'm hoping for the best is it drops even more, maybe to a net value of maybe 0.025. So like the bid might be 0, the ask is 0.5. I can sell for that. $2.5 buy to close. I've net $7. That'd be nice if I could do that within the next couple of weeks, if this continues to drop or if this continues to rise. That's the ideal situation, because I'm not entirely wanting to wait a month for my $10. I'd rather make 5 to 7 over the next couple days, couple weeks, as opposed to having to wait a longer time. So those are the plans. That's what I'm looking forward to. I hope this kind of explained my thought process for a small account right now. I'm part of that Ant Street Bet gang. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be growing the account, but I'm also going to be posting educational videos besides this on my channel. I'll probably do a video explaining options, explaining maybe equity, cash secured puts, maybe a couple strategies like vertical spreads, the wheel, etc., capitalizing on the theta decay over time. But right now I'm starting at a little bit more high level, just giving you the tools, giving you the trades that I'm going to be executing, and showing you how I'm going to be trying to grow this account and updating you over 2021. So with that, I hope you enjoyed my first video. Comment if you guys think of anything you want to see. I'm sure there probably won't be any comments nor any subscribers, but that's fine. This is a little bit more of a video diary for me to update myself and see my progress over the years and look for potential mistakes in the future. So thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy it, maybe throw a sub. If you liked it, throw a like, all that jazz. But thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video.